Good evening, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Change Starts With Us Ohio. Tonight we have Frank Woods on, who is incarcerated at Richland Correctional Institution for a crime that he has not committed. Welcome, Frank.
Jim, thanks for having me.
Sure. Let's start from scratch on. Let's first start off with a bio, a little bit of history about you, then go to your court proceedings.
Sure, Jim. Thank you. So everybody knows, Jim and I, as well as Nancy, another one of my advocates, we had decided to start from scratch, and we're going to reorganize this and make sure everything is available on YouTube. And eventually, all of these audio clips will be available on Free Frank P. Wood at Facebook and freefrankpwood.com. We will upload everything into my cloud account when we're done. In the meantime, I'm glad that we have, I learned that I have some sort of a fan base out there, and I want to thank everyone for listening, okay? I appreciate it. And this gives me an opportunity to have a voice in the matter, because I was not allowed to testify. So, with that said, we are discussing State of Ohio versus Frank P. Wood. This case originated out of the Medina County Court of Common Pleas as case numbers, 05CR0365. I was unconstitutionally tried and wrongfully convicted in the courtroom of Judge Christopher J. Collier. He's still on the bench. Please do not reelect this man. Second, I was tried by former Assistant Prosecutor Ann Eisenhower, who she's no longer in office, and she was assisted in the courtroom directly and illegally by former Detective Mark Kohler of the Medina City Police Department. Everything we discuss is based upon state, court, and public records that have been filed in one court or another and are available on my website. And everything is verified by affidavits that have gone uncontradicted in open court by the state. So we're sticking to the truth, we're sticking to the facts. Okay, goodness, with that said, hey.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Jim, as far as a little bit of my background, goodness, my father was Air Force for 23 years. He's still alive. I love him, and he's been one of my biggest supporters. And Dad, if you're listening, thank you. Dad's great. And goodness, I went to school in Italy for 4 years, spent a lot of my time on military bases. I was in the Marine Corps for a little while, medical discharge. Wow, this is quite the background here. I was self-employed for over 8 years as Ironwood Construction Incorporated out in Medina County, Ohio. I did start off my company as a DBA, the Wood Construction Company, in April of 98. I incorporated in 2004, so people know. And, wow, goodness, I've attended 3 universities. I studied law, economics, finance, theology, philosophy. Haven't completed either degree, but someday I will. But I studied in prison a lot. The last 15 years, I studied. And my lawyer, attorney Ronald R. Stanley, he'll tell you, I can pass the bar. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about.
He told me that you know a little bit more about criminal law than he does.
Yeah. I've been acting as, Ron is an amazing man. He stood by me, Jim, as co-counsel during my grueling trial. He has yet to serve me an invoice, ever, in all these years, because he knows. He is a good man.
I can tell.
When he read my book, which is published as an affidavit on my website, so people know, my book is called A Blueprint for Wrongful Imprisonment. I did it as a federalized affidavit. This way, it doesn't just educate people, Jim, on my case. It also educates people on how they put innocent people in prison, what the law really declares, the laws they violate, knowing fraternity. It's frightening, Jim. I've been
Right.
down for...
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
You add up my time in county and prison. This coming January 26th will be 15 years of wrongful imprisonment while two perpetrators run free. And this is all proven with state court public records. We have it. People are going to see. As far as how Jim, my gosh, how the case erupted. Wow. Whoa. And there's actually 3 elements involved, and I'm glad we're starting from scratch, Jim. I want people to understand what's in my book. Goodness. I was married. Turned out the child she was carrying was not mine. I sought a divorce. This is all on record. Once I stopped paying her bills in May of 2005, allegations of abuse mysteriously came about 4 weeks later, just so you know. Also, her oldest daughter from my former wife is one of the alleged victims in my case. She is the alleged GSI victim, and she was abused by her uncle. I am a witness, and which would be my former wife's brother. And his name is Ryan Spencer. My former wife testified at trial. Her name is Robin Spencer. She remarried as Robin Spencer Spielman. What her name is today, I do not know. She actually testified for me how good I was to her and the children. She never testified that I committed a crime. In brevity, and we'll get to it during another call. Her daughter could not even recall being at a crime scene with me. And Judge Collier said, what I'm hearing her say is, no, it didn't happen. Then he refused to dismiss the charge. That's shocking. In the meantime, goodness, then her oldest daughter, which is the alleged victim, was about 4 years old when I met her, and my former wife's mother, Linda Spencer, had custody of her.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
I hired 4 lawyers in Ohio, Kansas, and Florida to get the guardianship overturned, to get custody given back to my former wife. Since then, I took what you would call the trophy child, and believe me, they retaliated more than once. So far we have the motives of family and money. There's a third motive involved, sex. I was single, working a lot, running my company. A client's wife came on to me. I was attracted to her, believed everything she said. We had an affair. She got pregnant. That was in September of 2004. After she announced she was pregnant, the case was signed in for invest against me while she was living with me and never told me. This is all on record. Then, the allegations were for October of 2004. So how do you sign a case in September for October? Jim, we've either established clairvoyant capabilities or...
You have 1 minute remaining.
Hey.
Or we have proven fraud and conspiracy.
Hey, call back, brother.
Sure, those are the charges, and I'll call right back. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for using...
As you can see, Frank P. Wood is an innocent man, and I believe him that he is. His story stays the same. We had a great opportunity to talk with his attorney yesterday, Ronald Stanley. Nancy Coe knows this guy pretty well. You know, I've read some of the stuff regarding his case, and I believe that Medina County is a very corrupt county that needs to be fixed and put in the, in the right, so that they can start doing some fair court hearings. So many of these prosecutors just want a conviction, and it doesn't make a difference if the person's guilty or not. They just want a conviction. So, we gotta really work on this, folks. He's coming right back now.
is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Okay,
Hey, Jim.
okay, it's you. Okay, go ahead.
You there, Jim?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Jim, we just established on record the motives of sex, family, and money. These are the three oldest motives for revenge in the human race. And I definitely go into greater detail in my book, and I pray people will read it. But the reason it's so important is because nobody asked these people during trial, why are you saying this? Why are you testifying against Frank Wood? Now, there's a case, Jim, out there called Davis versus Alaska. Cases have been overturned and reversed and new trials granted just because someone didn't ask why. Why is the all-probing question? And that's interesting, but we'll get to more of that in the future. And I'd like to talk a little bit, Jim, right now about what happened as far as the case coming into full force. In Medina County, they seem to operate by what we call the dogma of point the finger and go. Basically, he did it. And they know this type of a case is so...
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Emotionally inflammatory in nature. That jury found me guilty before we even started. Especially like today, I'm watching Channel 19 in prison out of Cleveland. I'm watching the 4 o'clock news. Okay? There was a guy, an Asian gentleman, accused of sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl. They showed his face. They said who he was, what the charges were. There's no verdict from a jury. They just destroyed this man's life and debilitated him, cut off everyone from helping him through pre-trial media character assassination. And Jim, that is one thing I want to lobby against when I get out and finish my law degree. That has to stop. Another thing is called verbatim reporting. This is key. There are companies in Ohio that they will audio, video record your trials, all your hearings. That should be law. It should be a non-optional social convention. Mandatory. Because not only am I missing like 6 pre-trial hearings from my transcripts, I'm missing 2.5 days of trial record. Just gone. In fact, the transcripts are available on my website as Exhibit A in another document that's listed called an affidavit of accusation. Those altered transcripts were sent to me after they were sent to the Ohio Attorney General by the Medina County prosecutor. He sent them to me. I'm like, wow, thank you, I needed that. So this is important, Jim. They get away with too much. It's too easy to put a man in prison or a woman. All you have to do is have enough money. They taught me how to do this. That's why I wrote the book. And Jim, forgive me for being so bold. They broke the second rule in life. Never piss off somebody smarter than you with patience. And especially when he has nothing but time on his hands.
Right.
That's in my...
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Now, before they even secured an indictment, and the way they went about it, we'll get to in the future, it's called sham legal process as part of the Ohio Revised Code. What do I got here? I'm sorry. There was evidence existed that my case was closed and terminated twice by 3 independent state investigative agencies. This was before they went to the grand jury. So what did they tell the grand jury? My case was investigated by Medina County Job and Family Services. It's in my transcripts. They sent a letter to Chief Prosecutor Dean Holman, who's no longer in office, and said, there is no evidence to support the allegations of sexual abuse. We have closed this case. Montville Police Department said, Officer Travis McCourt, he interviewed me, searched my home without a warrant. I offered polygraph and DNA. Went through the video, interview, all without a lawyer present. I had nothing to hide. Okay? Amazing. They terminated my case. Akron Children's Hospital regarding the felony 1 rape. They could not conclude that the rape occurred. But yet the girl said in the Akron Children's Hospital report, my mommy told me Frankie raped me. That's implanted memories. What type of sick, twisted individual must you be to tell that to a child? What motives were in her head? And I know what motives were in her head, because she didn't know if the baby she was carrying was mine or her soon-to-be ex-husband's. That's the issue. And I also published the DNA paternity test results that established parental, my fatherhood, as Exhibit 10 in my book on my website. And it says there was a 50-50 prior probability I was the father. So while she was living with me, she was still with him, and that's what happened. Sad, but true. Will this ever happen again in my life? No. Now, let's see here. Lots of notes, Jim.
Right.
Also, something else that happened prior to my trial. I was out on a $200,000 cash bond, thanks to my family, a bonding company, and some of my own money. And that was a Tarosky bonding company out of Cleveland, Ohio. And after they fraudulently revoked my $200,000 cash bond, I just want everyone to know that the bond hearing transcripts have disappeared. In 2017, Attorney Stanley went to the courthouse to get my case file, a specific document that I knew was in there. They said it's lost and can't be found. So Medina's in the habit, Jim, of taking documents, either altering them, fabricating them, or making them disappear to protect what they have done. That is a serious problem. Somebody out there has got to be listening and say, wow, we need to spread this word. Because how long has this been going on? It's still continuing. Because the same people are in power. That's frightening, Jim.
Yes, it is.
Now, something else, too. Oh, my goodness. You wouldn't believe what I have on paper, Jim. Now, as far as the felony 1 rape, I want to make a note of this. And we'll get into this in greater detail in the future, just kind of giving people the rundown, Jim. And testimony, all right, this is important before we proceed. I was investigated regarding an allegation for October 20th of 2004. That is the case that was investigated, closed, and terminated, quote-unquote, due to no evidence. Okay? Mysteriously, I was indicted for October 1st through 3rd of 2004, several weeks prior. Wait a minute. That was the weekend of the girl's 10th birthday. She and her legal guardian father, Scott Sadowski, testified that they were in Putin Bay celebrating her birthday on that indicted weekend. The woman I had the affair with, Danielle Sadowski, now known as Danielle Smith on Facebook, look her up, people, say hi. And she testified that's where they were. When this happened, Prosecutor Eisenhower said, Your Honor, her testimony is bullshit. That's because it matched the dates in the indictment and the amended Bill of Particulars. So people know a Bill of Particular, that's the actual charge you have to defend during trial. Okay? You gotta have your game on. You gotta know what you're talking about. You gotta be ready.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Because there's 2 things you need to worry about with a prosecutor in a trial. 1, they only ask a question they know the answer to, whether it's right or wrong. Number 2, they will ask the same question 10 different ways to get the answer they want to hear. And I must say there's a third avenue that they pursue. They'll ask double-bladed questions or double-edged. If you say yes to part of it, it's yes to all of it. They're slick. They're well-trained. They know what they're doing. Now, excuse me, need some water here, bud. Okay, disclosed and terminated date of October 20th. They kept trying to say it was me that did it, but she kept saying that she could not identify me as a perpetrator on those days, and she was not afraid of me. There's a reason for that. This was a good kid. Gifted, smart, talented, funny, just a good kid. Respectful. After all the hell she's been through, respectful. Now, when it came down to the indicted dates of October 1st through 3rd, no one on behalf of the state testified that they investigated the indicted dates. So they used illegally admitted testimony for October 20th to confuse the jury into convicting for October 1st through 3rd. But yet, the girl's the one that said she was assaulted on the dates in the indictment. You see what I'm saying? I'm hoping this makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, this is how they confuse them into a conviction. So, it's scary though, on transcript page 135, I think it's lines 7 through 11, Judge Collier called my jury cynical. Oh yes, we'll have a very special phone call about the grand jury. Jim, how much time do we have left tonight?
About 4 more minutes, I think.
4 more minutes?
Something like that.
Jim, I would like to tell people where I'm at, and that they can reach out to my advocates at, on my Facebook account. They can reach out through you. I'm Frank P. Wood. My number is A504107. People can email me directly at jpay.com with that same information. And they can write me at the Richland Correctional Institution, P.O. Box 8107, Mansfield, Ohio, 44901. I'm willing to field any questions. If there's a topic in my case or law you want to discuss that's related to my case, please let Jim or I know. And I am offering carte blanche interview to anyone, any reporter willing to speak with me with the transcripts in front of me. I'll do it.
Okay,
So,
and Frank, make sure you let people know to join our YouTube channel so it can get up to 1,000. Change Starts With Us, Ohio.
Is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Okay, yes, you have that, and that's your YouTube. Change Starts With Us, Ohio at YouTube,
Right.
where they can follow everything. So this is great, and I appreciate the time, Jim. I really do. And there was one other thing here I was worried about. I wanted to see here. Oh, yes. Before we proceed, and with our next set of phone calls tomorrow, Judge Collier declared Danielle Sadowski to be, which is now Danielle Smith, to be not truthful in her testimony. That's in the transcripts. But yet he continued to let her testify. This is what we call court-acknowledged and state-utilized perjury, okay? And just so people know, there is extraterritorial federal jurisdiction over this matter now because of that and the implanted memory of Frankie raped you. That's sick. I also have the rape report published on my website.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Okay,
Real
this,
quick, people will see.
yeah,
People will see a flawless hymen.
right, and this is part 1.
Jim.
Yeah, this is part 1. Part 2 will be tomorrow.
Yes, Jim. 6 p.m.
Tomorrow, let's do it sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, what time?
1 o'clock or so.
It'll be a little closer to 1. We go to lunch at 1:15.
Make it 2 o'clock then.
2 o'clock sounds great. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, thanks, brother.
Have a good night.
You too. Folks, it's important to be listening to these YouTubes and hear what the men and women are saying about their innocence. Please check out our website at www.changestartswithusohio.org. Again, that is www.changestartswithusohio.org. Email us at changestartswithusohio, Candace, CANDACE, @gmail.com, or changestartswithusohio @gmail.com. Our number is 380-799-3868. Everyone, have yourself a great night.